G'day guys, it's Lockie Beresford here from LockieBeresford.com. This is my 5th video in my series on mixing Weather the Storm. In the first one, I set up the session. The second one, I did the balance. Third one, we did some mix bus processing. The fourth one was all about EQ, and this one I'm going to add some compression. I'm not going to talk for the next little bit, I'm just going to do my mixing, and then afterwards I'll go through what I did and why I did it. So sit back and enjoy.
Ignition, time, decision, I'm feeling fine. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it, getting on it. Time, decision, I'm feeling cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it, getting on it. Time, decision, I'm feeling cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it, getting on it. Ignition, time, decision, I'm feeling cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Cause, notion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it. Always say that we're out that way with the history that we're making. In this race so blue we discovered before. Now we weather the storm. ignition, time, decision. Are you feeling fine? Ignition, time, decision. Are you feeling fine? Life, getting on, cause, motion. Decision, are you feeling fine? Ignition, time, decision, are you feeling fine? Life, getting on, cause, motion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it, cause, motion, fact, think about it, hope, reason, life, getting on it, ignition. Still going down. See this fine. Ignition. You barely even kiss the skin. Are you feeling fine?
Alright, so as you can see, I didn't really do that much compression, and that's mostly because of the type of instrumentation that's been used here. We've got electronic drums, so there's not going to be any inconsistencies with that, so it doesn't really require that much compression except for an artistic sense. The guitars are distorted, so they pretty much compress themselves. The keyboard sounds are all fairly flowy and don't require much compression, which pretty much just leaves the vocals. And you can see I went to them first because that was the first thing I noticed when I was listening to it. Fairly basic compression. I used the Dynamics 3 compressor, which is what comes free with Pro Tools. And I just set a fairly fast attack, fairly fast release, a medium ratio, just a 3:1 ratio, and had the threshold down just so it was catching the top of his voice there, so it's not affecting it too much when it's down low. That's a fairly standard vocal compression, and I just ran that on every single track, so it was nice and quick, and I thought it sounded a lot better. The vocals were a lot more consistent, and the lower level vocals were coming through a bit more while taming some of those peaks up the top. You will probably want to go through each vocal later on and make some minor adjustments, but from what I can hear there, that sounded pretty good from each vocal. I then went to the vocal bus and added another compressor. This one's a little bit softer. It's got a 2-to-1 ratio, so that's fairly low. Set the threshold a little bit higher, so it's only touching the top there, but gave it a bit of a softer knee, and that means that the level of the compression, that 2-to-1 ratio, gets gradually more as the level gets higher. So if it's only really touching the start of the knee, it's not going to be hitting a 2-to-1. It'll be close to a 1.3-to-1 or 1.5-to-1, and then as the vocal gets louder, that 2-to-1 compression really kicks in. I had as faster attack as you can get, so that it's catching all the vocals there, and again a fairly fast release. That's to make it transparent, and that this bus compressor that I put on here is more so that when the vocals double up, then they're not putting too much extra level into the track, and it just tames it a little bit more and brings out those lows that come through there. The last compressor I used was on the drum bus, and I used this one in a little bit of a different way. This is more of an expander, so I've got it. I had it sitting over the whole drum bus, so everything that's in the drum section, the beat itself, the kick and the snare, are all going into this compressor. And I've got this side chain here set down very low on the high frequency cut, and that means that only the kick drum is triggering this. A little bit of the snare, but every time the kick drum hits, this compressor gets triggered. I've got the attack sent fairly slow, and that lets through the start of that kick and the snare. So when those loud peaks come through, it allows the transient at the start of the sound to get through and then starts compressing after that. I've got the release set really slow. That's almost half a second of release, and that's so that it comes back to where it was before, just before the next hit. The reason for this being is you get that kind of pump sound. So the beat comes in, the volume drops a little bit, and then it slowly brings it back up just before the next beat. You hear this done a lot in dance music, sometimes a bit more intense than how I'm doing it here, but I've got a very low level of that, and it's more of a feeling you get when you set this kind of compressor. It gives you that bouncy, dancey vibe. Again, I've set the threshold just high enough so that the kicks get through, but that's helped with the sidechain compressor. Sorry, sidechain unit here. And that's about it for that one. Very low levels of compression required here. When you've got a full band with a live drum kit and acoustic guitars and percussion and things like that, the compression is usually a bit more intense, but I didn't really need it that much here. So I hope you got a little bit of a vibe of what I was going with the vocals there, and saw how I used it on the drums. If you have any questions, just let me know below. Any comments on what I've done, same deal. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.